In this video I'm going to show you how to format your forms. So in the last video we looked at creating forms. So you can see on the screen, this is the one that I created last time. What we're going to do is format the form to make it look a little bit more interesting. So to do this, I suggest you take your form into design view. Now there's different ways you can do that. We can right click on the tab of the object that's open and it gives me this context menu, or I can click on the view button up here and I can take it into different views. Layout view allows me to move the layout, so move the boxes about, for example. Design view is a bit more powerful. It allows me to put colours, although layout view allows me to do that as well, but design view allows me to add things like buttons to the form, which we're going to do at some other point. So I'm going to take my form into design view. Okay, so these boxes here, okay, these are the labels that go across the side of the form. Please don't change anything in these boxes on the right hand side. These are the field names, okay, these in the field list over here, that's what they are. If you change those, your database will stop, your table will stop working. Okay, so if I go back into the form view, you can see I've got, there's my labels, the ones that are on the left, and this is where the data comes in from the table. Okay, so don't change anything in here in design view, otherwise your form will stop working. So there's a couple of things that we can do. I can drag the footer out. So at the bottom, we've got the header at the top here, which is where my form header is. I can drag the footer out at the bottom, like that, and I can add things into there. So I would like you to add something in the footer. We'll have a little chat about that in a minute. The first thing I'm going to do though is move my heading into the center. So I've selected the text box and I can move my heading using the cursor keys on the keyboard. Okay, and that's moving my heading into the center. I can also change the font. So if I go onto here and I highlight the font, I can come to format. I can change the font size. Okay, so I'm just going to make my text box a little bit bigger. I can change the font style. So let's say I want to go Algerian. Okay, I can change the font color. So I'm going to change that to, just pick a color, to that color there. Okay, I can make it bold. Alright, so you can see that I can format the form in lots of different ways. So I can use the formats that I can use in Word. I can also shade the background of this text box on its own. So I've got the text box selected. I can come across to, this is not a text box, actually I shouldn't call it a text box, this is actually a label. What I'm going to do is use the paint pot tool, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to shade that a different colour. Please, I'm sorry about my choice of colours, they're not the best. But I can also shade the background of this. Okay, so I can shade the actual header itself. So if I drop the list down again, okay, and choose a different colour, so let's say I chose that one there, you can see now that I've got a different colour on my background. So I'll just move that down slightly. So if I take that into form view, you can see how that affects the form. Okay, so I'm going to take this back into design view. So similarly, I could change the background colour of the main body of the form, the detail section, just by doing exactly the same thing. So clicking on the background, selecting the paint pot tool, and I can come down and I can change the colours there. Similarly, I can change the fonts and the font sizes of those. Okay, I suggest you leave these alone though. You can, if you want to, change the fill colour of these to match the background fill. So I can change that like that. So when I preview the form, okay, if I go into form view, you can see that I have changed the background. But if you do that, make sure that your outlines is pretty sort of bold, so that you can see clearly the records in your database. Okay, so I'm going to take this back into design view. I'm just going to undo those last two things that I did. Okay. When you're using forms in Access, it's always a good idea to add user instructions. So like I drag the footer out at the bottom here, I can also drag the side out and I can add some user instructions. So this is what I suggest you do. As you look at the menu at the top, okay, you're looking on the form design. There's three separate menus. There's format, there's arrange, and there's also form design. Okay, those are the three menus that we've got for our forms. In form design, you've got this toolbar that runs across the bottom. no, runs across the top, sorry, of the page. And what you're looking for is a label. There is a text box and there is a label. Text boxes are not used in the same way as in Word or in Publisher or in PowerPoint. Okay, so do not use text boxes to create a label on your form. You're going to create a label. So I've just clicked it. I'm going to draw a box on the screen and I'm going to put in this box user help. Okay. Again, I'm going to go onto the format and I can format my fonts. So I've just selected the box. I'm going to go on to, let's keep the same Algerian font. I'm going to select font size 24, that'll do. And I'm going to change the font color. So let's have a look. Let's change it to a white. Okay. So that label is there now. So underneath that label, I'm going to add another label. So I'm going to go to Form Design, and I'm going to select another label, and I'm going to draw a text box in. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is start entering some user help. So I'm just going to give the user some simple instructions. So please enter a new customer into the spaces provided on the form. Okay, so you can see that I typed in there some user instructions. Okay, and I could do the same thing again. I can format those. So I'm going to go on to format. I'll use a different font this time. I'll use Arial Black, and I will change the font color to, I'll keep it as white. Sorry, that's the fill color. Let's undo that. The font color to white. There we go. And I could change the fill color on there to black to make it read. Oh, not like that. Undo that. Select the box first. Okay, and you can see there now that the text is really standing out. Okay, if I select the box, I can center the text within the box. I can do the same thing there. Okay, so I'm applying formatting techniques. You can see that the difference between what I've done here and what I had originally. If I take the form into layout view, I can also, as a matter of fact, I'm going to select. I can select multiple objects by clicking the first object, holding in the control key on the keyboard, and selecting the second object. And I can now move these about. Okay, so I'm just going to move these out of the way just for a second. And what I can do, I can highlight multiple objects. So let's say I want to put the address details up here. Okay, so I'm going to select those cells like that, and I can click and I can drag and I can drop them wherever I want them, so I can play about with it and then use the cursor keys to fine tune where I want. And I could then move this back up here and put that into there like that. Okay, so you can see how I'm changing the form. Let's take this back into design view, and the last thing that I want to cover with you is the use of the footer. So you can put a tagline in here for your company. So it's up to you to think of one for that. So this one is all about, this database is all about a company called DeesDex. So I'm going to put that in my footer. So I'm going to put a label again. So form design, label, I'm going to draw a label on the screen. I'm going to say dancing with DeesDex. Okay, and again I'm going to use the formatting techniques to increase the font size of that. Alright, I'm going to change the font again. Let's use a different one, so let's use that one, so make that box a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm going to change the fill color of the footer. So I'm going to change that to that color. I'm going to change the font color as well. So let's change the font color to that. Okay, brilliant. So that's my formatted form. The only other thing that we have to look at is the title, because the title should be a bit more detailed than that. So I'm going to put the word details in the middle of there. Customer details form. And I also want you to import or insert your logo that you've created for the first task. So I'm going to show you how to import your logo. Okay, so you're going to go on to the form design and you're going to insert an image. Okay, so there's the image. That one there, sorry. Okay, there's the image. I'm going to draw a box on the screen. I suggest you put it in the header of your document. And it's going to ask me where is my image saved. So mine is in my downloads folder, and mine is my logo. And you can see I've double clicked it, and there is my logo in my database. Now I can make that bigger. So if I drag the detail section down, it gives me more room in the header, and I can make that bigger. Okay, and I can move my header on my heading of the form, and I can put this on both sides. So if I copy it, I should be able to paste it, and I've got 2 copies, and I can put one either side, or you can do what you want with it. Okay, but that's how you import or how you bring in your logo. It's important that you have your logo in your form. So let's have a quick look then and see what that looks like. Let's take that into form view, and there we go. That looks way better than the other form that we had. Obviously, with this, the things that we can do with this. We can also go on to the layout view, because we can see that we don't need this, okay, these things to be so big. So I can make these smaller as well. So I can just click and I can drag the sizes down. Okay, it just does this by default. It makes them all the same size so that it looks uniform. But if you decide you want to make your boxes smaller, that's absolutely fine. Alright, so that's how you format the form. And what I would like you to do is to take a screenshot of your form after you've formatted it, and I want you to explain all the things that you've done to improve the way your form looks from the default when you created it to the final results now.